All right, you guys, we're going to continue to go through our Fire Academy series here. We're going to go through week 3 of South Metro Fire Rescue's Fire Academy series. Like I told you before, if you haven't viewed their YouTube channel, make sure that you go in, subscribe to them, turn on that, post notification for them, and review all the content that they have. They have great resources that can be extremely valuable to you throughout your journey to the job, especially through all the aspects of the firefighter recruitment process, through the Fire Academy, and just getting direct insight of what's expected of you when you get on the job and you're on the other side as a firefighter. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through week 3. I'm going to give my testimony just like we've done in the previous videos, and we're going to kind of see what their Fire Academy has to offer. Let's get into it.
Keep working, Becker. You're halfway. Keep working.
Hey guys, welcome to week 3 of the South Metro Fire Academy. I want to start off this week by going back to last Friday because that day was one of the most, if not the most stressful day for these recruits going through this academy. The stress test happened on Friday, but as you'll remember, leading up to that day, the RTOs took the recruits through a lot of different trainings here on the drill ground. They had to go through confined spaces in the maze. They also had to find pieces of their SCBA and put them back together, all with that blackout shield over their face.
Forward. Take a knee. Reach out right in front of you. Okay, there's your nozzle. Beginning to collapse. Find your way out.
Just been in a class. What do you do? All you just clear the air. Keep walking. It's flat. You gotta watch you do the other building. Hold this. Good job. You made it.
Take your mask off.
Stress test is probably the worst day of their lives.
So as you can see, the way the Fire Academy is structured, it's structured from a gradual standpoint, okay? So, you start from A, working your way all the way through the alphabet to Z. So you're working on, the fine, minute, little, monotonous things in the beginning, beating on your craft every single day, working on those little things like your PPE, your SCBA, and all those things. And then as you get through the academy, as you can see, they're gradually working on other things, incorporating, other challenges and other steps to just help strengthen their arsenal. So whenever they do graduate the Fire Academy, they have the skills necessary to do their jobs well. And obviously, whenever you get onto the job, you're always going to be constantly learning, constantly developing your skills and working on your stuff. But it's all designed to, gradually increase, your ability to do the job of a firefighter throughout the Fire Academy. And one big thing that I want to talk about when it comes to these drills that they're doing, like I told you last video, they're utilizing that hose line, smooth bump to pump. So if they're, separated from their crew and they have to find their way out, they're going to utilize their hose line to get to safety, to get to egress. So they were talking about structural collapse. They were going through a bunch of different obstacles. You saw the firefighter, beating on the walls, kind of making noise. A tactic that we utilized throughout our Fire Academy was called Grab Lives. And the acronym was spelled out. Let me see if I can find it real quick. So here's what I was telling you about the grab live stuff. So this is the acronym we utilize for whenever we did get in a situation where either we were separated from our crew or structural collapse happened, something happened to where we had to find our egress and get out safely. So we utilize this to kind of, keep us grounded, give us a process that we can kind of work through while keeping, our sanity and keeping our composure so we can get out safely. So grab live. So it's G for gauge, R for radio, A for activate, breathing, low, illuminate, volume, exit, and shield airway. So these are literally the steps that we went through to kind of help, us mitigate that specific scenario. So for instance, gauge, check your air gauge. So find out how much air you have, right? So then you can communicate that to, your fellow brothers and sisters, to your supervisors, so they know, everybody on the fire ground knows what's going on, how much air you have. So you kind of know what you can work with. So say you have low air, that tells you, hey, you need to calm yourself down and utilize as less air as you possibly can. Obviously within reason. Obviously for radio for assistance. So this is when you call out your mayday, mayday, mayday. Kind of let the people on the fire ground, your supervisors, your crew know kind of what's going on with yourself. Where are you at in this specific location? What's your last known location? What's your air at? What are your surroundings that you're aware of? Just kind of giving them a brief, not a brief, but as in-depth description of your specific situation, so everyone can kind of implement a rescue or an assistance plan to come help you mitigate the situation that you're in. So as for A, it's for activate. So that's when you're going to be activating your pass device. So don't worry about it. Whenever you go through the fire academy, you're going to have your SCBA, you got your shoulder straps, your hoses that goes to your air tank, and you're going to have this pass device, and they show it. It's the thing that's ringing whenever the firefighters aren't moving, or whether they press and hold and activate. It's like a loud ringing noise that just kind of helps others know kind of where you're at. But then again, our pass device is for like when we're not moving, so it's a certain period of time. So say we're a down firefighter, we're in a specific situation and we're not moving, our pass device is going to activate if we're not actually moving around. It's just kind of letting not only ourselves but other people know, like, hey, something's wrong here, one of our firefighters isn't moving. Also, you can activate it, obviously, like I said, for letting people know, kind of making noise so people know where you're at within a specific situation. So as for B, it's breathing, conserving air. So just like I told you, when you're at the gauge, checking your air gauge, seeing how much air you have. So 4,500 to 4,000, whatever the case is, how much air you have, you want to know that, so you can also communicate that, and you can kind of help yourself and be more aware of kind of how much you have left, so you can kind of work with that. Obviously, when it comes to breathing, on your air pack, you're going to have bells. So once your air gauge reaches a certain level, meaning like low, that bell's going to start ringing. So it's going to tell you have a certain amount of air left in that specific bottle. So don't overthink it. Whenever you get used to your own SCBA and your air packs and stuff, you're going to kind of know, hey, when this bell rings, I know I have this much. And depending on the person I am, I've been working with my SCBA, I know based off my own abilities, I have this much air left. Yeah, my gauge may say I have 1,000 psi left, but I know for how much air I take in, I'm going to have this much, granted the situation I'm in. These are all things that you're going to be thinking about, okay? As for L is low. Stay low. Obviously, superheated gases, heat rises, so you want to stay as low as possible. So obviously, that's why we're crawling around, kind of filling on things, utilizing our hose line for egress. I is for illuminate. So anything that you can have that can help, help others see you. Obviously, it's going to be superheated gases. It's going to be smoky, depending on the situation that you're in. It's going to be dark, no lights. So if you have like flashlights, get those things rolling. Anything that you have that can kind of help others kind of see where you're at, and obviously help yourself see kind of where you're going. V for volume. So as I told you, as they were crawling through, they were kind of beating on the walls and making noise. That's what you want to do, okay? So whether you have your nozzle with you, you can use your nozzle to kind of, help make some noise, your foot, whatever you have, because as, you're in a specific situation, you're in a mayday situation, you need help getting out. As you're working your way through, as you're making noise, the surrounding firefighters are going to be able to hear that, depending on the situation you're in, of course, but it's going to help them kind of help locate you. So that's why it's extremely important that you kind of follow these steps, and V for volume is a big deal. Exit, E for exit, find egress, okay? So your nozzle's the path for you. So granted, low visibility, superheated gases, structural collapse, entanglement, whatever the case is, utilize your nozzle as your primary means for helping you get to egress. Shield airway. So Shield airway, always protect your airway as best you can, okay? So say you get into some foreseen circumstance to where your air canister is, or your air pack is, you know, depleting, you know, with air, and you're low on air, you're almost to no air. You don't want to be sucking on your mask. Obviously, you got to do everything in your power to conserve your air, work your way through, get us help, and get to egress as soon as possible, as soon and as safely as possible. But like protecting your airway, so say, you know, you run out of air, okay? What you want to do is shield your airway. So you want to, you know, pull up your turnout coat, whatever you have to do to kind of protect yourself, so you're not breathing in, you know, gases and the carcinogens and all those different things. These are just kind of some of the topics that our RTOs were kind of educating us on whenever we were in the Fire Academy, because it was extremely important that, you know, they ingrained this grab lives aspect of the Fire Academy in us. So when we did get in a particular situation, you know, God forbid we did, but if we did, we can, you know, go back to this acronym, compose ourselves, you know, in a quick and a safely manner that we can. Compose ourselves, tell us what grab lives is, and kind of go through our steps and kind of work our way to safety. I know that was a long spiel, but it's extremely important. I just kind of wanted to touch on it, and they may touch on it in this video. And I also have a video that I'm going to put up that I actually went through it myself, so you can kind of see it. It's kind of a slow version, so I can kind of talk you through it as well. But we'll bring that up in the future.
Hopefully one they'll never see. Starts off, the stress test actually starts off on Monday when they get told, basically, at the end of the week, if you don't pass the test, you don't have a job anymore. We do it early in the academy. It's one of those things that we build the stress up over the week so that it's in their head, and they need to learn to master their minds so they can get through any of these obstacles that we're going to put in front of them. It's that encouragement and coaching that gets them through that, and that's what's going to happen on a real fire scene. They're going to get coached and encouraged over the radio if they're calling a mayday or they're having a problem. A traditional picture as they come out is when they're completed. It's always been a stuffed animal of some sort, and this was what they found down here, SpongeBob. So they hand them SpongeBob, and they kind of get that blackout cover taken off their mask, so it's a surprise. They're out, all their academy mates are around them. We've been doing this test for over 30 years. It's at the beginning of every academy, and it starts that whole group off on the right foot.
All right, now let's get you back to week 3. So on Monday, the recruits learned about fire behavior. They were able to use this box to really get a feel for the chemistry and the flow path of fire. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday, the recruits are learning all about ground ladders, how to do carries, how to do throws, and how to do leg locks.
Ladder coming down.
Be sure to check the videos on YouTube that I put up for ladders. We have 14, we have 24, and we have the 35, just kind of going through steps, utilizing your team.
Start out with obviously short straight ladders, and then we move into progression of 2-person throws, working up to getting to the 2-person 35, and then by the end of today we're doing single person 28 extension, 24 extension, and all the straight ladders as well. Along with that, we go over a lot of window entry and getting into the window, out of the window, leading up for some VEIS skills later on in Academy. Unconscious victims and conscious victims were covered as well. And getting a roof ladder to a roof from an extension ladder, went through that. Just pretty much everything that's regarding ground ladders on the fire scene was covered very quickly but in depth in 2 days.
just wanted to quickly touch on something that was kind of funny. As we put up the tutorial of a two-person 24-foot ladder throw, there was somebody had commented on one of the videos talking about, if you can't throw a 24-foot ladder as a single firefighter, what kind of firefighter are you? And it was kind of funny because it's like, it was like a pride thing. I'm gonna just let you know right now, don't be super prideful, okay? If you train to throw a 24 or 28 or whatever the case is by yourself and you have the skills and ability to do that, awesome, do it. For us in particular, we train as a two-person for our fire academy. There were some guys that did, fire 1 and 2s and went through other academies that could do it, but for us, that was how we trained. So if you have the, the resources and manpower to do it safely with 2 people, do it with 2 people. There's, no superheroes out here. You don't need to be super prideful. Don't hurt yourself. Be as safe as possible, and utilize the resources and manpower if you have it. It's kind of funny that that person was, doing that. Obviously, they were probably trolling us or whatever, but, we're not super prideful. I was never super prideful. I'm about, doing my job as good as I can, being the best teammate I could, and do everything in my power to get home safely. That's all that matters, okay? So don't be super prideful when it comes to the career of a firefighter. Be safe, utilize your resources, stick to the safety, stick to your protocols and standing orders, general orders, all those things, okay? Don't be prideful.
Today is Thursday. We're gonna head over to the drill ground. The recruits are working on power tools.
The recruits have had a full day of hands-on dealing with saws, rotary saws, and all their hand tools for forcible entry. All the props you kind of see around here on the drill ground today, they were having just doing multiple cuts with simulated flat roof and pitch roof for residential. We've had some steel and rebar over here that would simulate any type of a steel structure and or garage doors and storage units, and or maybe a residential garage door. South Metro, we run a ton of storage unit and garage type fires, so we're giving them some good practice with that. Also in that fire station over there, they're working with the chainsaws, just giving them some different feels and choices what they would use to ventilate a structure or to make egress into a structure.
So first off, I obviously put up some videos of, how to start and utilize a, circular saw, chainsaw. We have, hydraulic power tools. So make sure you go through and review those tutorials, kind of give you some insight of kind of what's expected of you. Things change. Certain tools are a little different here and there, but the point is, it's like, as you can kind of see the steps that I take you through, just kind of make you a little bit more comfortable and aware of how to utilize these things. But as we go through this and watch them, I want you to see something. So remember how I told you safety is paramount, and real quick, what's super cool about South Metro Fire Rescue is like not every academy has stuff like this that you can utilize throughout your academy. Like I said, not every fire academy is going to be the same. Some academies have, a lot more resources than others. For mine in particular, my specific engine company, I don't think we ever utilized actually, cutting down, garage doors and other things that he was talking about. Like we had a lot of, wood pallets and structures like this that we can, put some wood on and start working on, vertical ventilation and stuff. But I want you to just understand that, utilizing these videos, you can kind of see, some of the things that you're going to be doing and partaking in within your fire academy, or especially whenever you get out into the field. So utilizing this to kind of get some good information and direct insight of kind of what lies ahead. But I wanted to show you, just look how these fire recruits are training, and just be cognizant of like, their steps, look at their position, keeping their toes away, being as safe as possible, letting the saw, do the work, not manhandling it, or, being super prideful, or, Mr. or Mrs. Macho Man or Macho Woman, just kind of, as you can see, just kind of finessing it, letting the saw do its work, shuffle stepping. This is all going to play a huge part whenever you, Whenever you start working on vertical ventilation in the fire academy, you know, obviously when you're utilizing, you know, trusses and stuff, and you're walking up there and the roof isn't as tenable as it, you know, would be if there wasn't, you know, if it wasn't under fire and all that stuff. You know, you're going to learn about, you know, shuffle stepping, you know, utilizing the trusses and just being as safe as possible. So I just want to just quickly touch on that. That's how monotonous, and I don't say it as disrespect. I say it as like, that's just how we as firefighters pride ourselves on really doing everything in our power to help ingrain safety first, you know, and precaution and cautiousness when it comes to our fire recruits in the academy. Because if we can get that ingrained in their head and it becomes second nature whenever they get out to the field, it's going to carry over. Because you'd be surprised that, you know, whenever you do get in the field, how, you know, things just kind of go away when you don't utilize them as much. So, all right.
Everybody, happy Friday. So today is vertical ventilation training for the recruits. So all of those different skills that you saw them learning with the power tools just earlier this week, they're going to be using that on a slanted surface similar to a roof.
Walk up that rafter and sound it, and then sound to the sides. Keep walking up that rafter, stay on the rafter. So once you get up to where you want her to cut, find the rafter that she's going to be cold cutting over. You found it. So when she gets up here, you'll go like this, signifying cut one, and that'll signify that's your rafter. And just go like, there you go, to get it all out. Okay? So what do we do once we get some good smoke and fire coming out? Get off the roof. Get off the roof.
The reason we ventilate is to get the gases and fire out of the building to help victims' survivability and make it easier for us to search.
So this was another great video by South Metro Fire Rescue. I absolutely love this fire department. I love that they put up all this content, and I know a lot of work goes into this, so I really appreciate them for putting this up. It gives us a lot to kind of work with and kind of show, you know, you guys kind of what lies ahead for you. Just like I said, if you haven't, you know, checked out this channel, make sure you go in, view their content, you know, utilize it as a resource, you know, as another you know, variable or asset within your corner throughout your testing process and your journey to the job. And make sure you subscribe to them so you can stay up to date on kind of what other valuable resource they have to put out. All in all, just like I always tell you, make sure you work hard, stay consistent, and I'll catch you in the next one. Good luck, future firefighter.